Here we go again. Another Victory Monday. What else is new here in Chiefs Kingdom?
Man,
Mundane.
this is feeling incredible. I will say, I was feeling I didn't realize this until, just last night or yesterday, but I was underappreciative of what the Chiefs have done so far and then come out and, the Raiders end up always being a trap game, Christmas last year. And
Oh
then we
yeah.
play them again now. We walk in at 6-0 and we're trying to go 7-0, last undefeated team. And then you got the Raiders at 2-5, and so it's just set up to be a bad game. And the Raiders always play us well, and so after that win yesterday, I just felt so good. Like this team has come such a long way, and we're just not playing good ball. Really, quite honestly, like Patrick, outside the whole defensive scheme and players, they're playing lights out ball. But
Oh
Pat's not
yeah.
having his best year and all the others. There's people that will argue that for sure, but it's just I was very appreciative last night and today after going 7-0, moving to 7-0.
All you have to do is watch the Cowboys game, watch what happened in that Bears Washington game, and you can gain a pretty solid appreciation for what's happening right now in Kansas City. And that's just two examples, right? It's no secret Mahomes and the offense, they've kind of been underperforming. Honestly, it's the best start to Mahomes' career from a win perspective, but on the stat sheet, it's worst in just about every single category. I don't think there's many points in his career outside of his first career start where you can say, okay, Mahomes has more picks than touchdowns, because obviously he finished that Denver game with 0 touchdowns and 1 pick in his first start. But man, you hit the nail on the head. You got to be feeling damn good. Waking up knowing that Mahomes is your QB, the Chiefs are your team,
Yeah.
and I mean you're just poised for another successful playoff run, assuming everything continues to go the way that they're going right now. Battling through adversity with injuries, I mean, all kinds of things are happening, and it's not seeming to slow this team down. So it's been awesome. Um, just keeping it relevant, real quick touch on it before we get into the Raiders game. Chiefs made another trade. Edge rusher from New England, Josh Uche, I believe is how you pronounce that last name. Um, Not really a starter per se in New England, more of a rotational edge rusher for them. Um, 5 sacks over the last 2 seasons, including this year. But in 2022, he posted a stat line of 11 and a half sacks, with 9 tackles for loss and 14 QB hits. So definitely a guy that's going to be good to rotate in. Charles Omenihu going to be coming back, and all you had to do is get rid of a 6th-round pick. Potential for him to be a free agent this offseason, where they can pick up another compensatory pick in a swap situation there. So you're basically giving up nothing for a potential rotational guy while Omenihu and Mike Dana are battling their own adversity.
Yeah, and I really didn't have this guy really wasn't on the radar for me. I really hadn't watched obviously much New England football as the rest of the country doesn't watch much New England football either. But watched some highlight clips today. Dude is lightning fast around the edge. And then I did see another stat today where I don't know what the span was, the duration of the stat taking place was, but he was top 5 in the league on pressures in the NFL. I think it was from now
Oh,
back to 2022 season. And so I
I
mean
like
that
that.
gets with the defensive backs that we already have, the secondary that we have, if we can increase that pressure on the quarterback and get them outside of the pocket, that's going to create more opportunity for those guys on the back end. So that's what I'm looking for. Obviously you already touched on he was a rotation guy in New England, so he's not going to be a star or a stud on our defense, but he's going to be another piece of the puzzle that gets us where we need to go to a defense that already could win a Super Bowl right now as they're playing right now.
Oh yeah, you sent that text right after that stop, and it was like, damn. I mean, this is like '85 Bears type of stuff that we're able to watch here, where they're just imposing their will on offenses. Has already led them to a Super Bowl, right? We got the title last year. We watched them, complete that feat, and now it's, can we watch them defend the title for a second consecutive year? The defense is poised for that. What it has earned the team so far is Andy Reid's 6th win is in Allegiant Stadium, making him the winningest coach. Essentially, he's tied with Josh McDaniel, winningest coach in Allegiant Stadium history. 6 wins there. I don't know if that counts or if that includes a Super Bowl win, but 6-0, that's insane. Chris Collins put out a funny tweet. I don't get to say that too often, but it was it's pretty cool. The Chiefs have 2 home stadiums, or maybe I'm paraphrasing there, but it was hilarious to
only
see
coach with
all of the social media reaction there.
Yeah, only coach with a postseason win there as well. I mean, we probably won't see another coach of the postseason there for a long time until there's another Super Bowl.
Yeah, decades and decades from now, banners will be hung. Mahomes also fastest at 30,000 yards in that game on Sunday. Did it faster than anyone else in the National Football League. This is not a new thing, right? Even with Mahomes' performance being subpar for his standards, he's still pacing faster than insert quarterback here, because no one has a better pace than him on the stat sheet. Just phenomenal. Just phenomenal Mahomes stats. On the New Heights show, they call it the LeBron stat, but I think pretty soon we will get Mahomes stat as the new standard for that terminology, because he is just blazing a trail, one that no one else has been able to carve out for themselves. Trey, who is your player of the game?
So it's really tough for me to pick one guy. You want to go with D-Hop with him just plugging in, 5-6 days after joining the team. Had a great run on the offense. Had a lot of rotation, which is good to see, being that fresh to the offense and an Andy Reid offense. But my player of the game, I got to go to the front 7, man, and it really comes down to those red zone stops. You talk about guys like Turk Wharton, Chris Jones, Karlaftis, Leo, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill. I mean, that front 7 was freaking lights out in the run game yesterday, and the pressures as well. But specifically the run game, man, if you can shut down the run game, it really, it puts a huge damper on what capabilities an offense has, no matter who the offense is. If you're playing, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, whoever it may be, if you can really dial in on that run game and get the run game stopped, it's day in and day night, or day in and what's the phrase I'm looking for there? I got lost. Night and day. Yeah, there we go.
I got you, brother.
On what the run game can do for an offense. So being able to shut those down was huge. But that front 7, man, they're freaking lights out. And it wasn't just the Raiders game, right? This is a continuous trend that these guys have built over the last few weeks now, and that we look forward to them continuing to build. And it's really going to come into play. Obviously, Monday night against the Bucs is going to be a big one. They got a good running back tandem back there.
Oh, yeah.
And then going into Buffalo, it's going to be huge for success against Buffalo.
Oh, man, I can't stop talking about Buffalo offline. I'm just so freaking pumped. It's going to be beautiful out there. Beautiful, and probably lake effect snow. That's going to be a big-time test. But, no, I think you're –
How about you, man? Player of the game.
Defense, man, insane. Insane performance from them. But I want to shine some light on Travis Kelce for National Tight End Day. He showed out just like every other tight end in the league, seemingly. 10 catches, 90 yards, touchdown, first touchdown of the year. Got the offense going a lot of critical moments. Found some of those soft points in the defense. And, he was able to reel those catches in. He had one drop that I would have liked to have had back. It kind of hit him in, one of his hands there. But other than that, man, he performed very strong, classic. It went everywhere from the touchdown to 10 total catches to the shovel pass after the fake handoff to convert for the first. Kind of checked the typical boxes that you check in a primetime Travis Kelce performance.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I got to give it to 87. Although, there was some great play from a lot of players in this game. I almost wanted to give it to Mahomes because he had a little bit of a bounce back there.
yeah,
But Travis Kelce, I think, drove that offense, and so I'm putting it down right there. But man, the offense, it started off hot, right? Let's talk about some of these highlights during the game, and it started in the first drive. They got D Hop involved like right away.
yeah,
Think we all saw that coming. Get it out of the way, right? Address the elephant in the room. DeAndre Hopkins is on the offense. He's going to get the ball thrown to him.
oh,
He
yeah.
motions in the trip set, goes outside, runs a little route towards the middle, and was able to find that spot in the zone to catch the pass there. And it was like, whoa, that's what it's like to rely on a wide receiver.
Yeah,
It's been so long since I've felt this.
yeah.
But
Surefire hands, man.
it was
Surefire hands.
awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah, but with the offense getting kind of stagnant there, I think you were about to dive into this a little bit where, I really didn't anticipate Vegas being able to go punch for punch with us, and they end up going up 10-7 on
They
us, and
kind of
which
did.
yeah, they did. And really you look at the whole broad stroke of the game. I felt like we dominated every aspect of the game. I feel like we dominated the whole game. And the score was a lot closer than what the actual domination of the game showed. I
Certainly.
feel like, just again, to tap back into that front seven, there's domination on the line of scrimmage for the Chiefs, both on offense and really on defense. That interior offensive line that we have, we continue to talk about them, but those guys are dominant in the run game and the pass protection. And I felt like we had our way. We just had those couple mistakes and really on offense that kind of left Vegas kind of dangling in there and left a little hope out there for Vegas throughout the game where I thought we really just dominated every other aspect.
Yeah. No, I mean it's the games like that we've seen the Chiefs play in the last couple of years where they play to the level of the competition and let them kind of hang around even though they should be kind of blowing the doors off the team they're playing. And it wasn't to the fault of the defense by any means, is what you were saying, right? The offense just kind of like, they kind of fell apart. I think you can attribute some of that to some key penalties, some of the mistakes maybe on the special team side where they're starting drives at the 8-yard line. 3 consecutive drives started at the 8-yard line, and I think that maybe contributed to some of this where you just don't have room to breathe. Turns out Mahomes ends up throwing a pick on one of those drives, right? So defense showed what they're made of. They turned a 7 into a 3, forcing so basically punt the ball to them. Started drive at the 8, didn't get anything going. Punt the ball to them. Penalty brings them up to the 28-yard line. They don't really move much further from there. Kick a field goal, 3 points. Kick the ball back to us. Ball at the 8-yard line. Pass is tipped, picked off. They have it like inside the 10. You're expecting, okay, touchdown here. Now all of a sudden we're in a situation where the game's tied and it's feeling a little more stressful. 4 straight stops to stuff these guys and the defense. I mean, that was the turning point.
It was.
That was
At that
100%
point
the
you
turning
knew
point.
it was. Yeah, at that point you knew the Raiders were cooked. It was
Game
over.
was over.
Yeah.
Had to hit the chat with the chef emoji. They were cooked, baby. Dinner's done.
Dinner's done, baby.
Dinner's done. We're having Vegas strip steaks over here. It was
right.
It was awesome, dude. It basically 4th down, turn the ball over on downs. Chiefs get the ball back. And to add insult to injury, they capped off a 19-play, 90-plus yard drive to score a touchdown to really, really drive it home that this game is over. Antonio Pierce, your formula has failed. It got handled when it got handled, and that was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Those Kermit puppet throwing fans over there.
Yeah, to be honest with you on that point, I don't think that conversation is over with. I think,
Oh, we got
I
another game against these losers.
exactly. I expected some conversation after the game. I'm sure Patrick got those questions, but there really wasn't any quotes to put out on that. So I'm assuming after that game after Thanksgiving when we play the Raiders midday on Amazon, if we walk out of that one with a dub, and I expect that one to be full blown, absolute chaos in Arrowhead. I see some pretty heavy comments because we saw the game get pretty chippy yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Kareem Hunt and Max Crosby getting after it. End up dapping up after that, but
that was pretty funny to watch actually.
yeah, yep. So and it really didn't stop there. O line, D line, special teams was chippy. And so I think when we go into that next game, it's gonna start like that, right? And once that
Oh
game's
yeah.
over, and we take the 2-0 series on the Raiders for the year, there's gonna be some conversation about Hermit the Crab. Matter of fact, hopefully somebody brings that same puppet to the post game interview
The
and has a
crap.
conversation with Kermit the
Yeah,
Frog, not the
yeah,
crab.
they Hermit the crab. I was like, oh damn, they're throwing all
Yeah,
kinds of puppets out there.
yeah, yeah. Fog brain today, dude.
Oh, it's so good. No, I mean it's 100%. It's funny, like I feel like this is the second game in a row. Things have gotten chippy. There's so many storylines going into the Niners game. There's storylines going into the Raiders game. Another game against the Raiders later on in the year, and there's still a game against the Bills, which is going to carry a lot of that same intensity in terms of like a rivalry and watching these guys come together. And we saw it with Cincinnati earlier.
Yeah,
This is one of those things that's going to carry over in the two Broncos matchups as well, right? They
good
got the
point.
win over Kansas City last year, snapped a very, very long streak that spanned to the Obama administration. And all of a sudden, we're in a place where, okay, now they have the winning streak against Kansas City. And
Sure.
that's something that they're going to have to manage over there, too. So while these games on paper maybe don't carry a ton of weight for Kansas City outside of Houston and Buffalo, these storylines are what's going to drive this team to get up for these games because that's the hard part. That's how you fall into a trap
Yeah,
is you don't have a reason to get up. And there's been a lot of comparisons between Michael Jordan and what he did in the 80s and 90s and Mahomes and what the Chiefs are doing, not just with the overall performance, winning championships and titles, but with how this team is taking any and every piece of ammunition they can get to drive that intensity up and turn them up. And man, I'm just living for it. It's when you can be quiet while the other one's talking and get out with a win. I don't
yeah,
know if there's a better feeling than that.
yeah, agreed. And to your point about the storylines, as the Chiefs continue on 7-0, last team left undefeated. We're a couple games above everybody else in the AFC. That is going to create the storyline anyways. It creates itself with a record like that and having a dominance over the AFC at this point. There's a lot of calls for Baltimore being the best in the AFC within the last couple of weeks. It's easy to forget about a win early on in the season, which I totally understand. Chiefs have lost bad games. We tend to lose bad games against the Colts early on, and once you get past those, but what I'm getting to is that let's look at this Monday night game against the Bucks, right? Baker Mayfield's been playing out of his mind this year. That offense is playing really good ball, and Chiefs are still 7-0. So this game against the Bucks, an NFC team, and they're even probably going to bring up some Super Bowl rematch. The Chiefs are looking for revenge on the Super Bowl from 4 years ago, right? I mean, nobody in Chiefs Kingdom's thinking about that. But
Yeah.
there's always going to be a conversation when the Chiefs are about to play and who they're about to play and what the status of that game is.
Yeah, and just mentioning the Bucks, like Brady's not around, but there's still a lot of key members of that Bucks Super Bowl team that are still with the organization today. I don't think anyone forgot about when Antoine Winfield did this in Tyreek Hill's face during that game. I mean, you can put images of that up, and that'll be enough to get these guys up and ready to play that game. So
Yeah.
I think that's a very good point, and glad you brought it up because That's the next matchup, right? We're going to get to dig into that a little bit later this week, but what a great week for the Chiefs from a playoff perspective. You already said it. We're leading the division, we're leading the conference, we're undefeated. Those are all things the Chiefs can say. But Ravens lost. Bengals lost. They're deeper in a hole. Jets lost. They're deeper in a hole. Jaguars and Dolphins, they're basically eliminated from the playoffs at this point.
Yep.
And there's a lot more going on with them. We don't have to get into all that. But Pittsburgh, they're playing Giants tonight, right? That's going to be something that you watch. Are they potentially in position to win that division? Maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah,
At this
absolutely.
point, right? And so those are just a couple of things that you got to watch out for as it stands right now. Chiefs, Texans, Bills, Steelers in that order from a division standpoint. And on the wild card side, Ravens, Broncos, Chargers is where we're at. So, I mean, with all that considered, the way the landscape's looking, the Chiefs could be in position to lock up that one seed pretty early on.
Yeah, I'm liking where we're at quite a bit. I do think these Broncos matchups are going to, bring some difficulty for this team. But as we've played in the past, rookie quarterbacks, we eat them up. So I don't think that's going to be too big of a hurdle. We do obviously play the Bills here in 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And then we got the Texans just a couple days before Christmas. So that game could mean a lot. That Texans game could end up weighing a lot for the Chiefs. Not necessarily, what the standings would be after that week, but what kind of flexibility that may give us for the last game of the year. When we do play Denver, I think we played Denver in Denver the last game of the year. So we could see theoretically, Chiefs benching starters that last game, getting a bye week, and then going in and getting close to 2.5 weeks off before we play in the divisional round of the playoffs if we lock that one seed up early on. So that Texans game could mean a lot for the Chiefs. It's obviously going to mean a whole hell of a lot to the Texans, but I love what I'm seeing in the AFC right now.
How could you not? How could you not? Guest spot from Mila B here as we wrap the
All
show.
right.
Little Chiefs Kingdom's littlest fan. Thank you all for listening to the show and checking us out each and every week. Appreciate you. What a great way to start the week, Victory Monday, and we're going to end it on some analysis of the Buccaneers Chiefs matchup going into Monday Night Football at the fastest_40 on X and IG. And of course, you can catch Trey and I anywhere you get your podcasts and on the free Odyssey Sports app. Trey, you got anything for the people?
Go Mila. That's all I got.
Mila. Oh, no.
All right, Chiefs fans, let's get it.
Peace.